Okay, we're leaving Nebraska on Highway 26, and we're going into Wyoming. That's not a Wyoming sign.
This is the Oregon,
Okay.
the Oregon Trail entering Wyoming at this point, 1841. Main trail 3 miles south. Okay. The Fort Laramie National Historic Site. We're going to take a little side trip and go in and see what they have done, how we can live in the 1870s. Okay. This is some of the buildings of Fort Laramie. I'll bring them in. That's a big white building there. The officers' quarters. And as we go along, you will see there's the American flag blowing in the breeze. It looks beautiful. And there's some of these other little buildings that we will take at a closer angle. And there's part of a building that is not completed yet. There's another building that is part of the ruins of the original Fort Laramie. Some of the campgrounds at Fort Laramie, and I will pan around and show you what I can, because I am now asking for a battery. These are some of the original buildings that they don't have put together. That's the officers' quarter. This is another of the buildings. Visitor Center. Is homes where the rangers stay that take care of Fort Laramie.
Fort Laramie that you've probably read about in history. And rather than walk all the way around, I'm just going to pan the area. There's somebody right there with a horse. There's a 40-horse train headed up this way that's going to camp down by the river, which is directly ahead of us, behind the buildings. And I'm going to pull this in. Well, first I'll give you a wide view. And I'm standing in the parade ground, almost in the center. There's the flag is about center. And I'll go back and try to describe some of the other things that's happening here. Okay, the lens cap kept flying up. Okay, this is Fort Laramie. And I think Mary would probably give you some of the history. And I'm doing a 360 here to give you a broad view. I was here about 25 years ago. It hasn't changed a whole lot. Coming around. Now I'm going to start trying to pull some of the buildings in. They, for the most part, they have been reconstructed. Some of them still are around, but not very much. And of course, they finished the officers' building first, and that's it. And these pile of rocks that you see here in the center are where the billets were for the enlisted men, and they have uncovered those, and they intend to rebuild those. And of course there's another officers building. You would figure they'd get that first. This another pile of rocks here is actually the original rocks from the foundation of the billets. And as you can see, some of these buildings that do remain are in bad repair. I understand because of the shortage of wood in the area that the locals, Indians and etc., ravished the buildings for the wood. Now this one has a new roof on it. And I have no idea what these two tents are, unless it's a display of some kind. This building has been completely redone, and it is now the informational center. That used to be, that was the commissary during the time of Fort Laramie. And that's an informational center. You can go in there and get all kinds of information that you're looking for. And this is one of the billets, enlisted men's billets, that has been put back together. But over there on the hill, you'll see what remains of another building similar to this one. As I said before, we have been told that the buildings, the wood was all stolen out of the buildings. And there's another one that's in bad repair. See, part of it's been put back. These are originals. And I'll go over to this monument and see what it is.
Laramie?
Wait a minute. Okay.
Tell me when.
Okay. When?
Okay, Fort Laramie, a military post on the Oregon Trail, June 16, 1849 to March 2nd, 1890. Commemorate the state of Wyoming and a new interstate residence. The Pony Express, Fort Laramie.
Wait a minute.
Express, Fort Laramie. From April 1660 to October 1861, Fort Laramie was a major post on the Pony Express route between St. Joseph's, Missouri and Sacramento, California. U.S. Department of Interior National Park Service. The Pony Express, we have Russell, Majors, Waddell, and they're the founders, owners, and operators. 120 celebrated riders rode 650,000 miles with only one rider killed by Indians, one scheduled not completed, and one mail lost. Okay, we go. The Pony Express went from St. Joseph, Missouri to Maryville, Kansas, to Fort Kearney, Nebraska, Julesburg, Colorado, Fort Laramie, Wyoming, Salt Lake City, Utah, Freda Station, Nevada, and Sacramento, California. The National Pony Express Centennial Association, we have Dwight D. Eisenhower, Chairman, Conrad L. Worth, Director at Large, Wardell E. Smith, President, and Lola M. Homster, Vice President. And this was dedicated, goes from 1860 to 1861. This is the Centennial Marker, which was put up in 1960 through 1961. This is the other side of the monument, which was dedicated by the Mormon Pioneers, National Historic Society, and says Fort Laramie, a military post in the history. Is dedicated to the history, which was from June 16, 1849 to March 2nd, 1890. This monument is erected by the state of Wyoming and a few interested residents, 1913. This afternoon, the clouds are just beautiful. You can just see how their arrangements are in the sky. Looks like they could just float. It is quite windy, but it is a very nice afternoon.